On this week's Whiteball Weekly, I'm going to be sharing the key metrics you need to be tracking when recruiting care staff. Recruiting care professionals is vital to any care business, and we all know the challenges that we face in the care sector when it comes to recruitment, but we also want the best quality and quantity of staff coming into the business. However, we cannot improve what we don't measure. So what I'm going to do is share with you a couple of different things you can measure and give you some ideas as to questions you can ask yourself internally on how you can improve these numbers. So let's just jump straight in. So on a monthly basis, what's the total inquiries coming in? So include everything, total from Indeed, from referrals from staff, from social media. On a monthly basis, how many inquiries did you get in that month? Total interviews booked, how successful were you in converting those recruitment leads into interviews? Total dropouts and no-shows. This is a metric which is really important to track, and I'll tell you why in a second. Total interviews sat, total in the pool, having the DBS checks and background checks, and then total hires. Now, first steps is, on a monthly basis, you can review these numbers and you can just plot it in something like Excel to begin with. Then you can start to look at the stats and start to understand, oh wow, the total inquiries to interviews booked, the percentage is X percent. Now I know there's a huge drop off at this area. And at that point, you can start asking your questions, yourself questions internally. Why is that? Is it because the sources where we're getting these recruitment leads aren't that good? It's not high quality? Is it because the recruitment staff aren't following up enough or in a creative way? But whatever it is, that's a huge number, and there's a lot of wastage in that part. It could even be the period of time it takes from when they received the lead to when they reached out. So ask yourself these questions and start to track the number. And then when you implement things internally, start to track if that percentage is actually getting better or not. The other thing you can look at is dropouts. So people who have booked interviews, but they dropped out. Start to ask yourself, what are you doing from when the interview is booked to once the interview is sat? What are you doing to engage that the candidate, the potential candidate? Are you sending in a texts in between? Have you got an email chain going out as to benefits to working with a company to sort of excite them? We're at a stage where we really need to get creative, so that's something else you can look at. And one of the other things as well, when you're calculating this, is the total in the DBS and background checks. What usually happens is there's a lag. So you might be reviewing, let's just say January, and you're thinking, we got loads of leads, but we haven't got much hires. They may still be sitting in December's batch of DBS and background checks. So when you look at this stat, maybe take into consideration the last quarter, last 3 months as well. So there's so much I can talk to you guys about this, but what I'll do is I'll leave it there. Feel free to ping any questions, or if you want some ideas, if you know for 2020 and moving forward, recruitment is what you really want to focus on, feel free to reach out and we're happy to help. See you next week.